Alright, so welcome once again to Pennsylvania here and these edible and medicinal plant videos. And I was out making a couple of videos out here today on this trail looking for certain things. And one of the things I was looking for was a sassafras tree. I had gotten to the end of my trail and found some of the things I was looking for, but I didn't find any sassafras, so I was like, well, I'll keep my eyes open on the way back. But sure enough, I found one over here. It's one of my favorite trees. Now, someone just asked me recently if I could do some videos. I do a lot of videos on wildflowers and stuff. I could do some on trees, and I'm gonna try and do that too. So I'm gonna include trees in my they are plants, so they can be included in my edible and medicinal plant videos. But over here is a sassafras tree, just a small one, but that's what we're looking for. So I'll turn you around in a moment and we'll take a look at it. So just off the edge of the woods here is a tree, and the reason I didn't see it, I originally came from that direction, but these trees were in the way and I didn't see it. But coming from this direction, I can see it. And one of the characteristic signs of a sassafras are its leaves. It has, like 4 different kinds of leaves? Here's the double thumb, or the double mitten. This one seems to have a lot of those. Yeah, if I can find, it has more that just look like a regular mitten. Okay, that's a funky looking one right there. Let me get back to see if I can find the other types of leaves as well. This one has a lot of this one variety. It's one of the few trees that has different shapes of leaves on the same tree. Of course, this little tree isn't the best for showing all the different varieties. Like I said, this one has mostly what I call the double thumbs on either side. But here's a leaf that has no thumbs, just one single leaf. And there was one, here's a small leaf that has just one thumb on one side. And sometimes you can find them with that single thumb, on the other side as well. But this one has mostly the double thumbs. Alright, but that's okay, it's still a sassafras tree. So in a little bit I'll find a place to sit and we'll talk more about the sassafras. One of the things you can do is you can eat the leaves. The smaller leaves, the ones that are smaller like this, actually are edible. They have a interesting taste to them. Well, the tree itself smells really good. One viewer described it as Fruit Loops, the cereal. Even the taste is rather pleasant. Maybe a slight fruity taste to it. It's actually really good. I won't eat anymore. Let that little tree have its leaves. But yeah, the leaves, the smell, the taste, all kind of has a unique taste, flavor to it. There's some other properties about the sassafras tree that we'll talk about. Some other edible and medicinal things. Yeah, so once again we are dealing with sassafras. I do have one of the leaves with me here. Like I said, it's the double thumbed one. It's one of my favorite trees, I must say. Once again, like a lot of things in my life, it goes back to when I lived on the farm, my childhood. There was a big sassafras trees don't normally get too big. They're usually kind of smaller trees, but sometimes they can get big. We had one growing at the corner of the barn. Kind of shouldn't be growing there because the roots were growing into the foundation of the barn, but it was a nice tree. The leaves turn a nice red color in the fall. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite trees. So I have fond memories of it. It did die at one point though, and we had to cut it down. But we burned it for firewood in the wood stove though, so it gave us benefit even in the end as well. Like I said, I did eat some back there. They do taste good. If you ever find a sassafras, properly identify it, they do taste good. So in a minute here, I'll put the scientific name down here for you, and we'll talk about some other uses, medicinal and eating wise, for the sassafras. He's getting a little wilty there. I didn't have to add much to the name to get the scientific name, because the word sassafras is also a scientific name. Sassafras albidum. Albidum, when I looked it up, means white or blonde colored. I don't know if that means, where's that leaf again? Here's a leaf. When you turn it to the other side, it does have a more whitish color. More in the sunlight, it's evident, but so maybe that's where, I'm not sure. Don't really know anything more white about the sassafras plant. But that's like, it doesn't have to be white, it could just be more fair colored, the other side. I'm guessing maybe. Sassafras, the family it belongs to, is a tropical family. Most of the species in that family go into the tropics. The sassafras up here in the eastern United States is the only species that grows this far north. So most of them are more tropical species. So I'm glad we have this species up here. Like I said, it's one of my favorite trees. One of the most common uses of the sassafras, besides just walking along and eating the leaves, which a lot of sources said people used for fresh breath and stuff like that. But of course, if your teeth are really bad, I don't think no amount of eating sassafras is going to help you. One of the main things that people use sassafras trees for is they make sassafras tea from the trees. And to make that, of course, the tree contains an oil. I forget what that oil's called. Sassafras oil. There's another name for it. Can't think of it offhand, but that's okay. I might put it down here. Starts with an S as well. But that oil is very concentrated, like in the roots and stuff. So people will dig up, not necessarily the whole tree, but just roots of the tree. And if you steep those roots in some warm hot water, you'll get that oil out, and it smells good. And the tea turns like this brownish color. And I've made it before. It has a very, I like the taste actually. It has a very, I don't know what to call it, very interesting taste. It's good though. I made it years ago. Of course, you want to sweeten it a little bit because it can be quite strong. And it, unfortunately, the FDA and those groups have labeled it as a carcinogen, like a cancer-causing thing, to make sassafras tea. So they tell you not to make it and that it can be harmful. And that frustrates me. I think I talked about this in a video before. It's just frustrating because it actually is beneficial for you. But yes, if you drink it in large quantities, it can be harmful. But that's like anything, any plant or food that you eat in large quantities can be damaging to you. But you know, at the same time, in all these videos, I am going to throw a disclaimer out there. If you do use sassafras for eating or medicinal qualities, do your own research and make sure that you aren't doing anything harmful to yourself. You know, don't just take my word for it. But yes, you can make sassafras tea, and it will not kill you if you drink it. It won't give you cancer either. I think they did studies on it, and you had to drink like a ridiculous amount of it every day in order to get those harmful benefits. But anyway, maybe there's someone that did. I don't know. But yeah, so if you've read about it and thinking about it, go ahead, make some. It has a really, like I said, it's a really good taste to it. But then again, you know, if you want to heed those warnings, you know, after doing your own research and don't want to make the tea or don't feel comfortable making the tea and drinking it, you know, that's fine too. You gotta do what you feel is best for you in these situations. I got my little book. I think I shared this little booklet in an earlier video, but I don't know, some 15 years ago I started getting interested in this kind of stuff. The tea is often drunk in the spring as like a spring tonic, so it's like cleanse the blood and do things like that. And it actually is a diaphoretic. It causes sweating. So it's the idea that you're sweating out those impurities that you built up all winter long. You're sweating them out and cleansing your body. But I think you have to drink an awful lot of the tea to get the sweating issue to come into play. Because every time I made it, I never started sweating. So I only ever drank like 1 cup at a time. And because of its aroma and its taste and stuff like that, it was always considered a medicinal plant. When the Europeans first came over and discovered sassafras, of course, you know, it has that smell, it has that taste. They automatically thought it was medicinal and could cure like almost anything. In fact, in some sections along the East Coast, it became rather rare because they would just haul it over by the boatloads over to England. They thought it could cure things like syphilis and stuff like that, other problem diseases that they had over there. But it doesn't cure syphilis. It just has that medicinally smell and taste to it. But anyway, it almost, like I said, almost became extinct in certain areas just because they kept harvesting it. And that is a problem. I mentioned that in some other videos with some plants. They get over-harvested because of their medicinal purposes, whether those medicinal purposes are true or not. And I could probably say more about sassafras, but I think I'll let it go at this point. You know, if you're interested in more about sassafras or any of the plants I mentioned in these videos, you can obviously do your own research and look more into them. But if you get to the point where you can properly identify the tree, it is a fun tree to walk up to and pick off those young leaves at the top. You know, of course, later in the summer you won't be able to find those, but do try them if you ever get the chance to. They have a unique taste. They get kind of slimy in your mouth. They're mucilaginous, I guess that's the word. But they have a really neat taste and smell. The leaves and even the twigs, if you break them, they have a really, like one viewer said, Fruit Loops have an interesting smell. So that is sassafras, one of my favorite trees. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.